Alright, we're live. Sweet. Alright, so for those of you who are watching, say perhaps VOD, we are working on a fully customized PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller, which is a somewhat belated Christmas gift for my mother-in-law. Anyway, carry on here. I'm kind of stuck on these stupid back paddles because you have these little nylon, as I drop that on the floor. You have these little nylon, I guess, bearings or what have you that hold the little pins. So the nylon's already slippery, not to mention that these come factory lubricated. They're really hard to grip. And then they go on this thing, which has a magnet that activates a Hall effect sensor, and that is, ugh. Makes it hard to use tweezers on it. I'm trying to figure out the best method to, where'd that go? Here it is. Get both of these little uh, nylon bearings on these pins. Or maybe I guess it's technically a bushing. I don't know what to call it. They're tiny little nylon inserts. Okay, I got both of those on there. Now just, come on. They're almost like staticky. So got that one seated in place. If I slide the rocker in there, now we just have to get the other one in somehow. The double tweezer operation. Maybe we do the bottom one first, because it's kind of, it wants to naturally angle that way. Pull this little flex cable out of the way. Christ, these are annoying. You know what? The controller moving is like half the problem. So I might just go get a vise. Let's see. I got. Why is my bitrate so low? I don't even know how to adjust that in OBS. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Better resolution. I don't know how to adjust the bitrate. Um, oh, that fixed it. Okay, cool. Now it should be it looks a little bit better. Just a bit. There we go. Now the controller's not gonna move while I'm trying to do this. There has to be some trick to this that I'm kind of missing. There's got to be an easier way to get those in there. Do they like snap into place or something? No, they just kind of float there. Because there's a bracket that holds them in place. I've actually got it most of the way assembled before, and then when I went to put the bracket in, it stuck to the magnet on the little bit there. Under the fucking... And when I went to put the bracket on, everything moved. So you gotta really hold it in place when you put that bracket on there. Because your screwdriver and your tools want to stick to that magnet. Okay, that's in place, that's in place. Goes the other way around. I think I got it. Now these are the short, self-tappy looking screws. Go in here. You guys enjoying the view at the top of my head? If I was smart, I'd have the camera below my face. That way I can like lean in and see what the hell I'm doing. You guys can see what's going on as well. But we're not always smart like that, are we? Okay, I got one in place. It doesn't have the little spring under it. Which that spring piece is this. Here. And I just have to do all of that a second time. This is easily the hardest part about assembly and disassembly on this freaking controller. Is there. And also just doing the butterfingers and letting on the floor. Pain. There's that little nylon thing. Yeah, there's little nylon bits way close to nothing. And it is so easy just to make them fly across the room if you're not careful. I almost wish I had like some jeweler's tack or something like that. Oh, that's a satisfying sound right there. I don't know if you guys can hear that over the noise suppression though. I'm gonna rotate this whole bench vise about 90 degrees here. Pain. Let that little sucker go. There it is. That is greasy. But, I mean, I guess the vise is supposed to be oiled, but it's a little excessive. Oh, look at the lovely shot at the back of my head. Gross. Yep, that looks better. These are Chemtech wipes. You can buy them on northbridgefix.com. Look at it. They're great. Sometimes you use them in conjunction with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Does wonders. Boom. Okay, now just to no, oh, it's so close. Got it. Oh, Christ. Yeah, if you're ever working on one of these motherfucker came right back out. If you're working on one of these DualSense Edge controllers, just know you have to take these back bumper plates off. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to get it back together. See, I need to kind of like practice where this bracket goes so I don't fuck it up again. It goes. It goes there. like that. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the orientation I need it. Drop that in place. There we go. One in. It's always the second one that's hard. Maybe I'm getting better at this. I just got it there. Alright, now for the paddle. Or the spring, I guess.
Hello, hello.
Howdy. How's it going, mate? Just so you know, I am streaming on YouTube at the moment.
Plugged in properly. That would be cool. There we go. Now I can actually hear things.
Yeah, how's it going?
Oh, you know, same old, same old. Got all my shit in from China in a consolidated order, and it's missing one fucking bag of parts.
This is what we're doing is fancy
Oh,
PlayStation
Xbox
controller.
Oh?
It's DualSense Edge. It's a fancy $200 fucking controller.
Oh.
Just so you know, I'm live on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's watching, but just so you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, assume all oh, what's the word? All communication channels are not secure in this era. Carrier pigeons, man. Best investment you can ever make. But yeah, I had a bunch of those like in 2012 to like 2015. They die. They die so quickly, the fancy controllers.
The DualSense ones, or this one just came out not too long ago.
I think it was mostly Microsoft ones.
Oh yeah, this
Like,
is a
I had
Sony
the
piece of junk.
I had the Xbox 360, the Xbox One.
This is what dies on them.
PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. I had the fancy wireless DualShock stuff when it first came out for the PlayStation 2. But that was cool shit. It's like, wow, wireless. Oh, it was the coolest thing. I think we still have one of those somewhere. But yeah, my best controller I ever got was one of the Razer ones, and it was stowed for so long that the cables physically set in position, so I had to work them back into being flexible again, and it fucked the braid entirely. That's never coming back together again. But they made those controllers really bloody well. But the rubber matting material they coated them in, it just disintegrates after like 4 years.
Yeah.
Gone.
Hang on, I gotta go back and look at my reference video that I was watching to see how this fucking spring fits in there. I took this apart like before Christmas, so.
That's something I learned with the A7.
I put the fucking things on backwards. God fucking damn it.
You know, it's best to spend an entire day watching a YouTube video over and over, and then the next day, on a nice amount of sleep, actually do it in one shot. That's one thing I learned a tiresome lesson of is like have all your parts ready, do it all in one shot, and then there's a no low to no margin of fuck up, and that makes life so much less hassle.
I'm used to doing multi-day repairs, but those are usually
Well,
on
I'm
things
used,
that I work on every single day, and I've been working on like PlayStation controllers for a long time. I just had never done this one.
I'm used to occasionally doing a field repair on the camera equipment, which is mostly just disassemble the whole thing, push the fucking ribbon cable back in. God
Oh,
damn
I
it.
fucking hate cameras. So many ribbon cables that like thread through so much shit.
Well, the thing is though with Sony is they do a layered design, so you've only got one main PCB, and then everything hooks into that underside or overside. So it's not terrible,
See, that's the
and I
proper
think
orientation right there, not this.
uh, but the thing is though, Sony's manuals are built like Swiss watches. You know, they show you complete exploded diagrams and everything.
If only I could find that for this. Schematics or die, whatever.
Oh, the nice thing is though is like you look at the Chinesium vendors and it's like, oh yeah, I pump in the part number in the service manual. It's like, Chinaman selling that for $5. Nice. It's like you can't get Sony parts unless they're part of the professional program. Like I can still get the HDMI connector from my HDR Z5e camcorder, right?
I
But
don't
I
know,
can't
the
get that
fucking nylon
for
thing broke.
the I can't get that for any of the consumer stuff.
Come on, piece of shit. Come on. Come on. There we go. Got it.
I remember
So
when
these have
Lewis
these.
Rossman did a video about his because he's got one of the the what was it, the APS-C semi cinema camera one. It was one of their ENG-ish line
Yeah, I remember
before
seeing
they
that.
started.
You see these
Yeah,
two little
it's one.
nylon things that this
Yeah, the little
rockers floats in? Getting those
little
into
wash.
place took me literally a fucking hour.
Oh god, I also like the ibis sort of
It's
shims.
because they're pre-lubricated, they weigh nothing, and they have to go in a very specific orientation, and you have to put both of them on the pegs at the same time.
You got to perfectly clip them in.
They don't clip in, they float.
Oh god.
That's why they're so hard. There's no click into place. They just kind of float in the correct spot, and they weigh nothing. So you nudge them wrong, and they fly. And there's a neodymium rare earth magnet in these paddles for the Hall effect sensor. So your tool will make the whole assembly move. And
Why did they make these so painful?
well, it's not meant to be taken apart. If it breaks, just go buy a new one. They do make them with replaceable modular joysticks, though.
Wait, it's on its own little breakout board?
Oh,
Ah.
it's a user replaceable module with like a release switch. It's still a
Oh, it's
pot.
using that connector. Isn't that the same one that Nintendo uses?
No, I don't think so. I actually have a switch over here. I'm doing a board repair on. It's a Max 2728 whatever fucking buck boost duck converter
Hmm.
problem. And he also had orange screen of death. Some repair shop did a really shoddy job on the Max chip, and I think that made his Wi-Fi card get a little too hot. So you got
I'm
orange
trying
screen of
to.
death. So I reflowed the Wi-Fi card, but I'm redoing the whole Max boost duck converter area because it looks sketchy as hell. Like they burnt one of the little speaker FPCs.
Oof. Well, they're too easy to melt, though, aren't they?
Well, you put a coin over him. It's that easy.
See, I like using foil tape for doing thermal loads because it actually spreads the thermal mass out. It's like
The quarter trick
I
I
still have the
learned from
photos
Chris
somewhere,
at
but
Rossman Repair Group. Chris always uses just like a fucking quarter. He just throws a quarter on the IHS that he doesn't want to overheat.
yeah, I mean, I basically foiled an entire motherboard just to knock off one BIOS chip. and it
That
was it
sounds
was the
excessive, man.
it was excessive, but it was the greatest success using a 2,000-watt paint stripping heat gun I ever had in my life.
Oh, you used like you
I
didn't use
used
a
what
hot air
I
warp
had.
station.
I used what I goddamn had, and it worked.
Okay, yeah, if you're using a 2,000 watt heat gun, that's probably not overkill. That's probably still quite sketchy.
Yeah, it's funny now. I've got a soldered a desoldering sucky gun. I've got a benchtop power supply. I've
Oh, you
got
got the
two
sucky
pine
sucky
saws.
9000.
I love my sucky 9000. It is so cool.
You know who would make
I
fun of you for that? Is
Ew.
Alex from Northbridge Fix. He thinks those things are so stupid.
Yeah, they're so stupid, but then you look at anyone who works on VCR equipment and they've got like 3 of them on their bench. Why do you
Yeah,
think they have 3 of them?
if you do keyboards
Oh.
or I guess VCR equipment, they make sense. But for
Well,
most
VCR
like
well
soldering
VCRs and most
repairs,
power supplies are all through-hole components. I mean, God, look at a time-based corrector from the 90s. You're talking about over 1,000 through-hole components. And it's like, you're not going to be fucking about wicking that, because if you destroy a pad on that,
oh, you don't
good
need a
luck
wick.
replacing like a 1 meter wide circuit board.
You don't need a wick for that. You just flux leaded solder. And you just use the manual sucker. It's fast. You just go.
Yeah, I tried the manual suckers. I even tried with the MG Chemicals one. MG makes such a nice little sucker for what it is, but I just came to the conclusion of like,
I bet that's where
if
Alex
I
gets the
if
ones
this
he sells. Because
if
his are
it's for a
nice.
manual if it's for a manual field kit, then yeah, get an MG sucker, put it next to your pine saw and your little field kit satchel. But if it's actually a bench
That's
top,
the
an
most
actual
European fucking
station,
thing I've ever heard.
you know, that's the thing, right? Is like I've got all my soldering kit in one little standard Molly pouch. And it's like that's got 2 soldering irons, dozen tips, solder, flux,
This is
and
how
I'll have
American
a
I
PD
am.
power bank. Oh yeah, you just got standard ammunition as your reference.
Yeah, this is like these are my desk weights.
Whereas I just use whatever I've got on the desk.
I do the same.
It's just like, oh, just a jar of IPA. That totally isn't explosive. It's like, yeah.
Look at this.
Uh,
1 bottle, 2 bottles, 3 bottles. Atom unit,
oh,
microscope, heating pad, laser engraving machine.
you just gotta all split. Man, I've had to drag all my equipment into the living room this year because it's just too cold outside right now. Because
You work
everything's set up in
outside?
my shed. Well, no, everything's set up in my shed because that's the only place where I have a full workbench that's completely clear of just shit that doesn't need to be there. Right? Like it's nice, it's solid, it's thick, it's mounted into the frame of the shed, right? So it's dead solid, doesn't shake, doesn't wobble, nothing. The floor got resecured last year, so there's like it's dead solid as a workspace. But the issue is, I need to sort out power distribution in there, and I need to get a fiber line run to it because Wi-Fi is insufferable, especially when like you set something to go for 6 hours and you're like, well, I don't physically need to be there if it's networked. Just open up a remote desktop session on one of the secondary monitors in here, and it's like I can do everything but physically move a tape. It's like
Man,
but, but when it's like two
when you
Celsius
have
and
good
you've got
Wi-Fi,
wireless,
right now I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm on Wi-Fi 6E, right? And I'm streaming to YouTube. I'm streaming to Discord. I've got
yeah,
your
but
stuff coming in and out.
how much
I'm
bandwidth do you have?
streaming. Oh, I'm gigabyte up, gigabyte down.
Yeah, so basically you gigabyte up, gigabyte down, and you're in the same room. I've got a brick
No,
house that's
my
got
my
25
router is
meters.
down the hall.
Yeah, but what's your house made out of?
Brick.
Is it brick or is it internal drywall?
Internally drywall.
Exactly. Shut up. You don't
Outside
have solid brick walls to penetrate through multiple floors.
that wall there is an outside wall. It's brick. All the outside walls are brick.
See, that's the big thing. Is like I always love it. Like you can put a router in an American home and it just covers the whole thing.
You don't
But
need
in
multiple
British homes,
APs.
because because of how we
Unless,
have
unless you live in an
brickwork.
apartment complex. If you live in an apartment complex, oh, I don't need the vice anymore. I'm done with the hard part.
Yeah, but some of us now have these like multi-layer foil insulation inside the brickwork instead of the foam pack stuff
Oh Jesus,
over
yeah. Good
here.
luck penetrating
So
that.
basically, you're Faraday caged because it won't penetrate through it. But because we've got the foam pack
Hey,
stuff
at
in here
least you
and the
don't have.
wireless routers face downwards, it covers the entire house perfectly. Just
Nate,
one standard
at
consumer
least you
router.
don't
But
have
what it
Wi-Fi
doesn't cover.
pollution.
Oh no, I'm right next to an airport. You want to talk about radio pollution? You got their radar pinging every fucking rotation.
Oh,
It's
that just blows.
it's not that bad though because we've got a covered tree line, right? So we've got a tree line tennis court with a wire fence on it. So there's a lot of things blocking RF from hitting my house, relatively speaking. But the biggest thing is though is like you get a decent like a Ubiquiti Loco M5, right? And I can read every wireless address through the bricks, throughout the entire postcode. I like only can't hit the person at the end of the street, and that's about it. Like I can hit everyone on my row, and I can hit everyone on the row behind me. No issues.
Uh, Imagine having houses in a row.
Well, that's the thing is like most houses are not in rows unless you're looking at like late 70s and newer regions in the UK in terms of development sites. Like everything's all rural style. And you got London, which is well, it's a shithole. It's
Yeah.
it's just pack. You just keep on packing shit in. It's like when it got bombed to bits, right? Some guy had a genius idea of like, let's knock down like 100 of these fucking old buildings, and we can actually have a real road system. It's like, nah. It's 100 years later, it's like, yeah, yeah. I don't go there without a stab vest, a
Ah.
respirator, and a satellite map. It's like, yeah, no, that place is a death trap. Even postal service can't fucking find addresses in that place.
Jesus.
It's like, yeah, because they use duplicated postcodes for some areas and like broken. It's a mess. It's like London, disgusting place. You go to the rurals in the UK, and everything's nice, perfect spacing. You can breathe. The air's clean. I mean, but the way the houses are laid out is not like the American block format. It's like just do we have stable ground? Slap some houses on it. Like that's the rural design of British housing.
Yeah, no,
Or the colder sack style, yeah.
cul-de-sacs. Fucking hate cul-de-sacs. The American style cul-de-sacs, where it's like a round fucking. It's basically a dead end roundabout, is what American cul-de-sacs are.
Yeah, you love to make everything worse, don't you?
I mean, cul-de-sacs are already terrible, like, infrastructure design.
The one thing I will give you is the whole block system is ingenious. Because not only does it
Have you ever
make
heard of
your
gridlock?
well, no, it's terrible for the people, but it's perfect for military design because like you want to block off a region, you just knock out a couple blocks and it seals off the area. You just drop a few buildings. It's really simple and comprehensive. Whereas in the UK, it's like that's impossible. You got too many side roads and bends and twists and everything. So it's really funny. Well, what was I doing before I went to sleep yesterday? Brain cells. The Chinesium order. So all my capture cards finally arrived from China. Not a single cap knocked off any of them. Thank God.
Is that a common problem?
Oh yeah, no, the little Contaxiant CX cards we use for RF capture, they're not fucking secure in the box. So you buy one or two of them, right? And the boxes just ping pong about, and the capacitors just get knocked off. It's like you can really tell it's like very bottom of the barrel fab quality, right? Like they really
When
don't
you said
care.
ping
It's like,
pong about, you know what that made me think of is like the soundbite of fucking Donald Trump going bing bing bong ding, you know, like
Bing, bing, bing. It's basically what happens, right? Because these get tossed in an air pallet or whatever, and it's like up, down, up, down, up, down.
yeah, and they
But
don't use
also,
like
you can
the
tell that these are
polyurethane fucking who's the what's it's that like expand to fill a void.
you can tell these are just literally tossed in the fucking box. At least this time they put them in ESD wrapping. It's like they had some level of wrapping over them, which
I
is
forget where
nice.
the fuck these go.
I will just find a hole for it, and eventually it works out.
I think this bit goes up here somewhere and clips one side to the other. Yeah, I think this bit goes right there. But
what I need to
look
work
at this
on now
paint
is building
job.
a solder. Hmm? Is that like sprayed on then adhered? Like, is there like a clear coat on top of it?
There's a satin clear coat.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's for my mother-in-law. She's a big fan of zombies, zombie games, Resident Evil series, you name it, zombie movies, horror movies. Um, here's the case that came with it. I customized the case too. But like that is her gamer tag there.
Nice.
And she really likes the Mexican sugar skulls.
Just a casual half docs on live stream, you know.
It's her fucking PlayStation gamer tag. Like what the hell are you gonna do with that?
Oh man, trust me, don't get into the associated metadata game. Oh, it's in once you've got one piece of identifying information and then a reference to someone else. Automated tools, man, they're really disturbing now.
Fair enough. That's not her full gamer tag though. I left the numbers out, so good luck. I probably have worse personal identifying information out here.
Oh, you put your face in your profile. That's enough to get you killed in some countries.
Yep. But we live in America. Here's my
The
address.
land of
Come over
the
and
allegedly free.
find out. that's a merry lad way. You carry a big stick. Gentle giant with a big stick. Alright. I'm probably gonna call it there. It's my birthday and I promised the wife I'd watch a movie with her.
Working on a birthday? God damn, you capitalists, man. Ugh.
I never stop fucking work. This isn't really work. It's a gift. So
See, over here in the good old empire, we put our feet up. We expect to be served like a king for a day,
oh yeah.
and then we get abused and treated like shit the rest of the year. But you know,
It's not that much different in America though. I'm just not that type of person where I'm like, oh yeah, spoil me.
see what annoys me is I almost never do anything on my birthday. It's usually just open stuff, feel happy for like 5 minutes, and then it's like mild disappointment over the things that the family fucked up getting. It's like, god damn it, now I'm gonna have to go and do like a dozen returns of requests.
They haven't figured out how to just give you cash.
Well, they can give me cash, but if they just give me cash, it just goes instantly. Whereas if I tell them exactly what I need or what I want, it's like that's equipment I wouldn't personally buy because it costs money, but they'll buy it for me and I'll have it. And that's it. I've got that equipment. So when I need it, I've got it, and I'm not like, do I have to move things around to get this now to do this? You know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't buy this equipment for myself. even if I had the cash flow, sort of thing.
Yeah, that looks really, really cool. You think there'd be a market for this kind of thing?
Oh, there is.
Oh yeah.
I remember back in 2013, like customized skins and stuff on controllers was like the hottest shit ever.
I mean, a fully custom controller and like controller modification. That's something I'm gonna be definitely offering.
I remember when people were making hair trigger controllers. Like that was like a decade ago now, right? It's like
Yeah, but personalization and customization is definitely like in the device repair industry a very untapped market.
well, it's like what's it called? Like phones, they used to have that little loop through for your little keychain icon, little keychain plushie or whatever, right?
Yep.
It's like that industry's just sort of died, right?
Um. Yeah, they they stopped doing that kind of thing on phones because it became more of a pocket item, and they made them more slim and compact, water resistant. Made
Well,
them.
no, I'm talking about 90s, man. Everything had a fucking wrist strap in the 90s,
Yeah, but how many people
early
actually used
2000s
them?
too. A lot of elderly, actually.
Hey, you wouldn't break your fucking iPhone if it had a wrist strap. I'd be out of a
Huh,
fucking job.
exactly. You know what's funny? If you look at most reinforced frame sort of cases, they all have strap points on them. It's like,
Well, all of our consumer electronics in this day and age are mostly disposable garbage.
yeah, that's true.
Things like replaceable joysticks are a pleasant break from the norm of everything's soldered to everything, and one component fails, and it sends 12
But you
volts to
get a
your
drop
fucking
of
NAND
water on
flash.
one IC.
Oh no, you just incompetently design your $1,000 laptops where they send 7 volts directly to your fucking NAND storage. That's soldered to the board, by the way. Apple.
It's like PD power supplies. It's like a lot of people don't realize. It's like you've got shield to ground on really decent power supplies, but all the cheap ones, there's no shield to ground. Like where's that ESD going to discharge? It's going to discharge into you when you bridge something. It's like, that's just wonderful.
Yeah, what MacBooks need to do is they need to put a fucking fuse to their NAND, basically. Either that or just redesign the power supply circuit for the whole thing.
Well, everything should have current limiters on it.
They don't. Not on the buck converter that goes to the NAND on a lot of MacBook models. Uh, Lewis Rossman's made videos about it. But yeah,
It's
they'll just send
insane.
7 volts right into the, 2.5 volt rail or whatever.
See, this is why we can't have nice things.
Oh, sometimes they'll even send 12 volts down that rail, depending on how it fails.
Oh, it's like on the old Alienwares. Back in
Oh,
2012 when
fucking
they pushed
Dell.
out the M18XR2,